Very good morning to one and all, and I really thank each and everyone who have made it on time, and that shows how punctual you are. And having said that, let us start with this today's session. So that's what's new with 2022 release of 3D Experience Works portfolio update. And I would like to say and welcome the complete SolidWorks community today to this webinar. So SolidWorks 2022, which is our latest release, is just around the corner. It features many enhancements to help you work smarter, work faster, and work together. We have focused on quality and robustness, so your tools are more reliable than ever. And of course, many new features you won't want to live without. Each and every year, you come up with new challenges. You rediscover the old ways of working are just not good enough. So at SolidWorks, we do agree with you. Each release, we make significant strides to improve the tool you trust. We are also transforming our complete ecosystem with our 3D Experience Works portfolio. You take what you already know in our beloved SolidWorks portfolio and supercharge it with all of the Dassault system's best technology. So you get to work smarter, work faster, and work together. So having said that, let me introduce myself. My name is Anirudh. So I work as a technical manager for Beacon, that's Best Engineering Aids and Consultancies Private Limited, for Mumbai division. So I take care of complete technical operations. So I'm with you here today to take you through the best enhancements and some of my favorite enhancements in the release of 2022. And I believe most of you are on social media. So you can follow Best Engineering Aids and Consultancies Private Limited for the latest updates on offers, technology offerings, the new enhancements, new product portfolios. So you get up to, you're up to date with the Dassault Systems product line and as well as SolidWorks portfolio. We also request you to get on LinkedIn, Twitter, on your from your personal accounts, and tweet or post on the new features or new enhancements which you may like. So you can use the hashtags, hashtag 3D Experience, hashtag SolidWorks, hashtag SWX2022. So you can also follow me on my LinkedIn, which is Anirudh IHF. So I believe GoToWebinar has been a tool for a long time now, but not just to give you a quick introduction for the users for the first time, or to get you acquainted with the tool. So you must be seeing something like this on your screen right now. So this particular button takes you to the full screen mode, and then we have a questions panel specifically here, and raise hand button. If at any given point of time you may have any questions, you can keep typing your questions here, and I will answer. I'll try to answer most of the questions depending upon how the time permits at the end of the session. Okay. What's new for SolidWorks 2022? So to do this, we are using the data set, and we are also featuring our long-term customer from Netherlands, SolidWorks. They are launching their Nemo submarine, the name of the submersible vehicle or submarine, which is at the it's a luxury product called Nemo. So we are going to use this data set throughout the presentation to take you through what's new in this release. So it is one of the most sophisticated piece of underwater tech available to the customers. It's an award-winning revolutionary design and personalized for individual use. So we are proud to be the part of their innovation all their way, and so we also would like to be a partner for your next great product. SolidWorks 2022 is the 27th release of the tool. As usual, new enhancements in this release are power-packed to work smarter, work faster, and work together. So this is the theme that the complete SolidWorks 2022 release is being built upon. Now, for now, sit back and take what's everything new in SolidWorks 2022 and 3D Experience Works portfolio. So the complete enhancement sets for the SolidWorks release 2022 have been segregated in three divisions of the three segments. So we're going to, in this webinar today, and in this presentation, I'm going to touch base upon SolidWorks 22 on the surface to give you a greatest enhancements. And then we are going to take a deeper dive to look into more detail of the enhancements. And on the 3D Experience Works portfolio, which has the deepest capabilities, I'm going to give you a just of it, but we have an upcoming webinar where we are going to cover that in more detail. So SolidWorks 2022 on the surface. So let us begin with it. So again, as I told, the theme for this complete release has been around working smarter, faster, and together. So let us look at the most, one of the smartest enhancements. So being a SolidWorks customer and SolidWorks user, you must be well aware of one of the unique feature, which is one of my favorites while using the 3D CAD inside SolidWorks, is for maintaining different versions of the design. So that is by default configurations. So configuration has been there with SolidWorks since a long time now, and it's been used to create different versions, different variation of the products in terms of either you are on part level or on assembly level. So the newest addition to this is something called as configuration table, which is going to take off, blow off steam in when for managing a lot of different versions and revisions. So this is one of my personal favorite, which I'm going to look into more depth and detail as we proceed in the presentation. Yet another announcement on Work Smarter is something called as component pattern, pattern-driven component patterns. So that is it has been smart enough, to understand the way the patterns are being done and to leverage each and every features of the components, mating to one another. So it has been enhanced to be more smarter. What's new for 2022 is a brand new user interface to manage your geometrical tolerances. We have a brand new user interface so that the complete workflow, the step-by-step workflow, allows you to define the most complex requirement in terms of manufacturing intent. Yet another new tool that's brand new to SolidWorks this year, that's in 2022 release, is something called a Stud Wizard. We have been working with hole wizards, advanced holes, so threads. So this is a brand new enhancement. So we are going to have a deeper look into this as well. So yet another mantra towards SolidWorks when this particular release is how we can work faster, need of the hour, as the designs are getting more complex, designs are getting larger, has more complex details. So we have few enhancements which are really great and time saving. So one of the enhancements in terms of user interface that we have for this year is something called as command search that has been unified with the Q key keyboard shortcut. You can directly search for commands from just the Q shortcut. So that is another enhancement coming to your mouse pointer. So another enhancement on work faster is now you can directly open detailing mode drawings from last design review. So now you have a greater access from toggling between the large assemblies in a 3D CAD environment and moving them to the drawing environment for more detailing. Yet another enhancement towards working faster is now you can directly open up sub-assemblies in large design review or lightweight mode. The quick mate toolbar, which has been people's favorite in terms of mating components and reducing your mouse travel time and clicks, has more enhancements and has been intuitive to use from this release. And coming back to the detailing mode and towards from design to manufacture, we have more enhancements towards how you can add new standard views, how you can incorporate whole tables, and all of this happening in the detailing mode, which were not there in earlier releases of SolidWorks. Moving to the next segment, that is work together. We have a brand new tool which is there since last 2 or 3 releases of SolidWorks. That's a cloud-based sculpting. comes up with new workflows and new powerful subd modeling solutions as a part of a 3D Experience Works portfolio. And the 3D Experience Works and 3D Experience portfolio, now we have cloud data management powered by NOVIA PLM, and simulation without limits. The lot of capabilities coming in from Simulia brand in terms of structural, fluids, plastic injection, electromagnetics, where you can take your SolidWorks models and have a tight integration and push them to Simulia workflows. So yet another offering from 3D Experience Works portfolio is a SolidWorks in the brand new avatar that is called as 3D Experience SolidWorks. So this is one of the out-of-the-box platform having the inbuilt PLM technique where you can have a connected workflows. So let us move towards deeper dive for SolidWorks 2022. So I would like to start with this session by showing what the enhancements for the user experience. So as we saw on the surface, we saw we have the command search now integrated in the shortcut bar. We have more enhancement towards coordinate system in terms of how we can define them. We have a brand new shortcut that's a Q key coming in the keyboard shortcuts, increasing the productivity. We have a lot of system control options, the way you can control dismissed messages, notifications, and bars. And one of my favorite in this particular section of enhancement is on the pack and go. So where it gets a progress bar. So let's go and have a look at it. What are these enhancements? SolidWorks 2022, helps to be more productive with the powerful user interface enhancements. A Nemo submersible is not complete with all its thrusters in its place. So in SolidWorks 2022, as we were discussing about how the command search engine is integrated, now with the just stroke of a key, the yes shortcut, the search command is integrated. And you can have the SolidWorks show it to you in the command manager as well. In SolidWorks 2022, coordinate system can be defined by user-specific numerical values, where you get the complete control on how you orient the complete component and having them defined towards your numeric value input. So this is a brand new enhancement. So origin visibility is currently turned off to reduce the clutter on the screen. So the new enhancement, that's a Q key, you can toggle between the part or assembly reference geometry such as planes, coordinate systems, as well as origins. Coordinate systems also have been visually and functionally changed. Their axes, planes, even points of self can be used to create section views, sketches, and more. These thrusters need to be mirrored on the other side. So commonly used command like this can be conveniently added to the shortcut key with just a stroke of a click. And the new key queue shortcuts even work while creating the features. Many other components of user interface have been overhauled to give you more appealing and visually experience. So these bubbles appear throughout the system options, giving you more insight into the settings. Dismissed messages have always been easy to show again, but now hovering over them gives you more insight. Notification reminders like this have been now unified in style and appearances. The most favorite topic, that's pack and go. So that's one of the way where you correlate the complete project with all the reference components. Now, so these tools are now get the progress toolbar. And that's why is it one of my favorite is because you can directly get to know how long these components are going to take to get packed and loaded. So the world's most user-friendly 3D CAD software is now more easier to use. Moving ahead, we have enhancements coming in at the parts environment. So we have enhancements in hybrid modeling, which eases a lot of workflows in terms of people working with the vendors and different BREF mesh geometries. We have some enhancements made to the whole wizard slots, the way you can orient it. Then one of the most asked features, now we get an enhancement for the draft for the components, where now you have an option to have a bi-directional draft. We have some enhancements again in Pack and Go in terms of component referencing. We have a section plane which can be taken on axis, cylindrical face, or a conical face. The brand new stud wizard and the configuration property. So let's take a deeper dive into this. For designers, the ability to create manufacturable products with an ever-increasing variety of file formats. So in SOLIDWORKS 2022 now makes it easier with the new enhancement by using the B-mesh-rep formats. So in this example, for the ball valve, which is there on the control panel, it looks perfect. But for the handle is too plain for the luxury product like Nemo submersible. So the supplier has provided this particular files, the B-mesh rep formats. But in SOLIDWORKS 2022, working with these files is just like working with the native geometry, thanks to the new hybrid modeling capability. Now you can directly create chamfers, extrudes, and such features now no longer require you to create an intermediate bodies. It's just like working with the native SOLIDWORKS CAD environment. So this is my personal favorite. Now, this particular handle needs a slot to lock its rotation or to restrict its rotation. But in SOLIDWORKS 2022, we have an enhancement towards the slot in the whole wizard, where you can define the length of the slot either by defining the arc tangents or the hole centers. And also the tab key, you can toggle between the vertical and horizontal positioning. Manufacturing this handle, needs a bi-directional parting line draft. So that is the most appealing. So in SOLIDWORKS 2022, now you can create drafts in both directions by using a single draft command and using a parting line draft. So this avoids creating two different features. This mesh file, as you can see, contains 3 different bodies, but the manufacturer needs access to the individual components. In SOLIDWORKS 2022, the Pack and Go now recognizes the features and references created when using the save bodies and split part commands. This way, you can choose which files you need to send without having to find them manually in the Windows Explorer. Section views are really the great way to show and inspect the details. Now you can specify section views from any cylindrical faces, conical faces, or even an axis. These 22 mm cut threads are used for rapid prototyping, but this is really too much detail for higher volume manufacturing or conventional manufacturing. And they make files huge as well. The new stud wizard is a great choice here, as it automatically recognizes the diameter of the body, and it still provides a list of different standards, thread sizes, and pitches to use. You can even create an undercut with full control over the dimensions. The stud wizard adds cosmetic threads, which can be called out in 3D annotations and 2D drawings. What's new for 2022 is configuration. Now it's segregated into configuration properties and property summary. In the first type, the property information can be added in conventional way and choose which configuration the values need to reflect. In the second tab, the tab allows you to compare custom properties of each and every configuration and have the greater control on how you make changes to it. Moving to the next subsection, that's assembly performance. And I believe most of the SOLIDWORKS users building in large assemblies have some point of time encountered or faced an issue in terms of how you manipulate the larger assemblies in terms of starting with the opening times, manipulation times. And to address this, SOLIDWORKS since the last couple of releases has come up with a lot of enhancements on last design review mode. So LDR, what we commonly call it as. So last design review mode has now more enhancements. So this is one of the lightning fast ways where you can access your assemblies with very few limitations. So here, let us take a look at how we how this assembly performance has improved. So The Nemo submersible is very complex with around 631 components from U-Boat Works. So this complete assembly opens in merely 12 to 13 seconds. So let us put a clock on it and have a check. So 6,031 components just loaded just within 13 to 14 seconds, and it's up and running. So this is one of the brand new enhancements on the LDR mode. And now what's new for 2022? You can directly access drawings of the large assemblies from the right mouse click menu. So here, detailing mode, as you know, it's the most efficient way today to open and work on the larger assembly drawings. And to the likes of large design review mode on the 3D front, the drawings also open in about 20 to 25 seconds. So this is one of the great announcements which I have personally liked. And as I told, it's one of the interactive way to work with large drawings and on the previously created views. In this, you can continue detailing your design by adding dimensions, notes, tables, annotations, balloons, and whatnot. And the ability to quickly access drawings from the large design review mode. In this way, you will streamline how you work with large and complex designs. Additionally, in SOLIDWORKS 2022, you can also open sub-assemblies in large design mode or the lightweight mode. So this way, you can access the components in more depth and detail in terms of you want to edit it. So for this example, we are opening up one of the sub-assemblies in the resolved mode so that it is accessible and editable to us. You can choose a part, assembly or sub-assembly through a breadcrumbs to be opened and to be made accessible. And what's new for 2022 here is moving the component. So the moment you select a component from your feature manager, you now are introduced with a triad, which makes it simple to orient the component in desired direction. The quick mate tools bar, which I've been discussing about, now gets more enhancements. It also gives you more control in terms of alignment, in terms of how the components are aligned and mated to each other. So either in terms of how you want to lock the concentric rotations, you want to change the orientations, so on and so forth. So either it could be on a circular geometry or a conical geometry, this holds true. As you can see, the flipping options and the concentric lock options are now made available on the quick mates toolbar itself. The more intelligent, pattern-driven components are now more intelligent as we get an option to select the seed position. So here, as you can see, the selected seed position has been populated. But what happens if I change the location of this component? So let's see it live. So the moment I change the selection of the component for the concentricity, still the pattern-driven component is intelligent enough to understand the seed and put in all the patterns required with all the intelligent whole wizard features that have been used in this design. So that is a time-saving intelligent pattern, I would say. And coming back to the configurations, configurations have always been a powerful way to create alternate versions, as I was talking about. So you can have instances of components included, excluded from the different versions of the design, and the possibilities of having configurations and using the configurations are endless. But as you start creating more and more versions in a single document of the file, keeping a track of this can get complicated. So, however, what's new in SOLIDWORKS 2022 is a new configuration table. This table makes it much easier to manage such configurations. From table, you can add new versions. Also, you can choose to toggle separation states. And configuration table is also bidirectional. So what do I mean by saying bidirectional? So let us have a quick look at it. Now, if I make any changes to the separation state on my graphical user interface, just like this, by using some commands on screen, all of these changes can be tracked back to the configuration table. So any changes you make in configuration table are on the GUI, any changes you make in GUI are on the configuration table. And it also comes up with a very powerful filters in terms of features, parts, and configurations. And you can have access to what the important information you need to have at any given point of time. So moving to our next set of enhancements, that's drawings. So when you talk about design to manufacturing, drawings becomes one of the most important way on how we communicate. So we have a lot of enhancements in terms of drawing in the way how you can detail your drawings. So we have a brand new detailing mode, and now you can have you have a greater way you can toggle between the circular dimension between the radius and diameter. We have brand new symmetric linear diameter for the turned parts, especially the workflow is going to be very helpful. And the geometrical tolerances, your brand new has a brand new user interface. We have more enhancement towards the bill of material and incorporating the detailed cut list. So this has been a long, asked feature. To give you a use case, if you are using a complete assembly, which has parts made from different weldments, and you have assembled them together, and while correlating the top level bill of material, it was challenging in terms of correlating all the cut lengths and cut lists. But now with this new functionality, you can promote and show weldment cut list of any type in assembly bill of material, so that you get the unified cut list in the bill of material. So that's one of the new enhancements. We have some more enhancements on the predefined view. Again, this has been the most voted feature, and our customers have been asking for this feature. So a lot of service requests and enhancement requests had been made. So that is on the predefined views. So now we have a way where you can automatically create a sheet metal flat pattern view, that is as a predefined view, and also have a greater control to show bend lines and bend nodes. So that is one of the greatest enhancements. So for the companies like SOLIDWORKS, there is a requirement and they need to build it right for the first time. So what does this mean? This means that they have to be communicating through SOLIDWORKS drawings. And sometimes, using drawings like this for the larger assemblies with more details can get really, really huge. For the past 3 years, detailing mode has been there and it has been evolving. And you can open larger sprints in a matter of seconds. You can add dimensions, annotations, whole tables, and whatnot with this new enhancement. And the brand new enhancement here, which is going to come up now, is one of my personal favorites. So I'll take a little pause there and try to highlight it. And you can also easily print this complete drawing to the PDF right from the detailing mode. So we have the save as option or print as PDF options, where in a matter of seconds you can print your largest drawing. So the favorite part comes here. So what if you have never used large design review mode, or if you have never used a detailing mode, and your drawings have been saved in previous version of SolidWorks, like this one. This has been saved in the last release, that is SolidWorks 2001. Now, the greatest extension that SolidWorks 22 brings on the table is here. You can directly open any lower version drawings without even having the 3D CAD objects in the background, right to the detailing mode. As you can see on the screens. So this also leverages in terms of how you can convert the older drawings into the latest PDFs and have them up and ready for the downstream processes. At another enhancement now, drawings now get the in context menu. Just by clicking on the dimension, you get the in context menu to toggle between the different dimensions and the way you can convert them. And a brand new way where you can dimension today is something called as linear diameter dimensions. These are like double dimensions, which can be applied on a single click, either to the silhouette edge or for the batch. GD&T allows functional definition for the component for component features and allowances. So we can clearly illustrate manufacturing intent. SolidWorks 2022 now introduces the brand new user interface to define GD&T. So this is intuitive step by step to define range, offset, feature, characteristic, material conditions, symbol, all defined in a very strategic way where you can go step by step and have them framed together. So having the plus small symbol there, either you can add or remove that symbols. And I was talking about assembly of parts containing weldments. Now, SolidWorks 2022 allows a greater way to extract the detailed cut list of such kind of an assemblies by collating all the information from part level. And the great way here, this can be accessed at any kind of BOM level. Either it can be intended, parts only, or at part level. So this is one of the greatest enhancements. So we also get a new way where you can have an predefined view in terms of sheet metal flat pattern, having bend lines and bend nodes. And it also gets a new toggle key for bend lines for communicating your right manufacturing intent. So visualize gets a ton of new enhancements, which have been very pleasing for me, and I have been liking these new enhancements because I myself have struggled in getting the right photorealistic uh, image outputs, and it needed a lot of trials. So we used to run multiple trials, multiple renders, and then we used to arrive at the more photorealistic image outputs. So now we get a brand new match camera. So basically you can alive 2D perspectives. That's the background image 2D perspectives. So 3D geometry, which is was the Herculean task for me especially. So that gets a new enhancement. Then we get something called as a shadow catcher. So we'll have a great deeper look into shadow catcher and how it can help you get more photorealism into the image or the videos. And we also get a brand new pattern instances where you can pattern 3D objects into the environment. We get scatter pattern enhancements to get the randomizing the geometry. We get brand new animation grouping, camera switching support for the animation, and some enhancements towards the output viewer. So why visualize? Bringing concepts to life in early stage of design through product renderings and animations can help accelerate sales and marketing initiatives. So let's see how Visualize 2022 makes it easier to generate professional level output for any user. HDRI environments or the background environments have been supported in Visualize. So these 3D assets not only apply background image, but also include scene lighting. This lakeside environment has a perfect sunlight source, but the background image needs to be used. That has to be more appealing to target commercial audiences. So the 2D stock image can easily be used and comes in all shapes, and as they come in all shapes and sizes. These can add perfect touch to any rendering, but it requires trial and error process, as I was talking about, to get align the right model's perspective. So Visualize 2020 comes with match camera capability. So using the 2-point perspective of the horizon that you can see there, and then that of the ship's structure along with the ship's walkway, the camera's focal length is now automatically calculated and applied to 3D geometry. Now that's a great enhancement, guys. So this builds in additional photorealism to the project by seamlessly integrating the 2D image and the 3D CAD model. This no longer requires R&D. The next step is to make sure the location of the light source and the 3D environment aligns with the source. So by rotating the previously added HDI environment, watching the newer shadows of the 3D model align with the shadow, the deck is easy, but unfortunately, the shadow bleeds in into the wall. So this is no longer a problem. By using a primitive, in this case, a wall, the primitive geometry can be placed, and this comes in handy. And switching between the accurate and rendering modes, we can easily align it to the wall to match its perspective. And what's new in SolidWorks 2022 is to convert this geometry into a shadow catcher. So the moment that is enabled, as you can see, the shadow is automatically captured and rendered onto the screen. So this adds more depth and realism to this rendering. And for our next image, capturing the Nemo in its natural habitat is a must. So the natural habitat is the underwater shot. So to get the underwater shot, we are going to use this back end plate. For an underwater shot, we need to get the light source. So in this source, in this particular image, what we are trying to use is, by adding a area light from its top view. And for this image, to get more realism into the rendering, we need some fishes. So how about adding a fish? So we can add this 3D asset from our library just by dragging and dropping and matching it to match the scale. So we have added a fish called as blue line snapper here. By using a triad, we can directly align it. But what if I want to add a school of fish? Do I have to go back to the 3D CAD and make it? No. But now, in the SOLIDWORKS 2022, we get a brand new option called a scatter. Just by playing with some numerical values, I can scatter the fish in randomized way and create a more photorealistic image. And for the third rendering output, we need a configuration and to capture the exploded view of the Nemo submarine. So this can be obtained by using the configurations and having all of these renderings in the same project. With the timeline enabled, the keyframe start and end positions can be arranged to obtain the very cinematic experience. And also we get grouping of those timelines, which makes it a breeze to manage at any given part of time. And we also it also comes up with color coding to identify the groups. Multiple cameras can bring in more professional approach to the output. So we can have this captured by multiple cameras and link them to the keyframes. So we can have multiple cameras added to it, align them towards the keyframes, use the grouping, which is already there in Visualize 2022 to get a more professional approach and outlook. So this is how the outputs are captured. So we have a new camera sequence animation. As you can see, the camera sequencing can be done very easily and getting in the more professional outputs. So what's new here in 2022 is something called as an output viewer, which helps you organize the outputs and the way they are rendered, take a greater control on what to render, when to pause, how to schedule it. So this also gets a greater view and look to it. So the user has a more control to know how the renderings are being captured and executed on the user's machine. So as we have come to an end to this webinar, we have seen some of the best enhancements, some of our favorites, and some of some of the best workflows that can be achieved using SOLIDWORKS 2022 release. As I told you, we also have an upcoming webinar on the 3D Experience Works update, which are going to talk about 3D Experience SOLIDWORks, cloud-based design, cloud-based PLM, and simulation without limits on the Simulia portfolio. So we'll have them communicated to you, and we request you to join those webinars to get more insight on our 3D Experience Works and Dassault Systems portfolio update. Having said that, so the right time to invest in SOLIDWORKS portfolio is now. We have range of promos and offerings curated for you to get the most out of your investment. Kindly get in touch with us to more on this offerings and on this offerings and the curated promos that can help you make the most of your investments. So you can get in touch with us. You can contact my colleague, Mr. Vivek Panikar, whose email ID is being flashing on the screen. It's Vivek, V-I-V-E-K, P, Panikar, @beacon-india.com. You can also get in touch with him personally on his cell phone. That is 97689-73797. We'd be more than happy to help you with any of your queries that you may have. So before ending this presentation, I would like to say that we are right on time. We are right on time, and we have just completed this webinar within the 40 minutes time frame what we had told you about. So I'm throwing this question open for Q&A. If you have any questions, we are more than happy to answer it. So I'm just going to allow you for a few minutes so that you can type in your questions, and I'll try to answer most of them. We have one question coming up from Siddharth Shenge. When webinar will be planned for SolidWorks Simulation 2022? Siddharth, we are planning on it. So we have a definitive webinar coming on our simulation portfolio. So in the simulation webinar, it will definitely cover SolidWorks simulation portfolio updates on CFD, plastics, and FEI. And also it will have enhancements and offerings from our Simulia brand line, so our Simulia and Abacus brand line. So you can get to learn more about Abacus and Simulia portfolios as well. So we request you to attend that session. Okay, in parallel, you can also get in touch with us by following our social media handles to get an update on latest webinars and technical sessions and technical know-hows that we keep on posting on our social medias. So we are available on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and on Twitter. You can search us by our name, that's Beacon India, or by Beacon SolidWorks. And also you can you can browse our website, that is beacon-india.com, to get all the social handles and or access to all our social media handles. Okay, I have one question coming in from Mr. Shailesh Limai. Are these available in all builds, standard, premium, and professional? Yes, so the features what we have spoken about today, most of them are available with all our standard offerings, that is SolidWorks 3D CAD offerings. I guess the SolidWorks Visualize has a different structure to it. You get most of the offerings in terms of the shadow catcher as well as the perspective matching. On the animation side, yes, it has to be on the Visualize professional set. But most of the enhancements that we have spoken about, 99% of them are available with our standard offerings. So as these are the core functionalities that have been built to work faster, working together and working smarter, these have been made available on our all the core 3D CAD modeling environments. Any other questions you may have, anyone, or are we good to close the session? Okay, thank you everyone for joining us for this webinar on our 3D Experience Works portfolio update and SolidWorks 2022 release. We'll stay in touch with you. You may also expect an email from us asking you about the feedback on this webinar. Kindly give your valuable feedback. That feedback will definitely allow us to improve our upcoming webinars, and that is most valuable to us. Thank you so much. Have a good day ahead. I'm signing off.